What's up, guys? So this is going to be a WRX video. So this is the update for a few people on here that's been asking about it, especially Lou and somebody else. So you guys remember I was changing my, I say oil sump line, but the PCV valve line, not the valve, but the PVC line is what I was changing. I believe that's what it was, the one that leaks, because it was revised. The dealer never told me about it. Found that out recently that it changed and revised because the other one was leaking years ago. As I was done changing it, I pushed the car back and noticed that green dye and the PEG oil and all lubricant, same difference, all out from underneath the evaporator, right? So you guys remember I got quoted $3,900 from the dealership, which is a joke, before taxes and before the part. Place in town, I usually got my external hard drive. I'm tired. I almost said external wastegate at first. Place in town, I got my my Schrader valves replaced before, and my expansion valve on the firewall that was I think that was redone in last May. So a lot of AC problems with this car. I'm not really sure what that... I've never had any vehicle I've never had to put Freon in it, ever. I think the SRT I put Freon in at one time. Never had any issues with any of my cars, any of the compressors, nothing. So anyways, it's weird how it dumped out all the oil like that. I'm saying oil, lubricant, same difference. Dumped it out underneath the condensation tube, just like crazy, right? So I got quoted $1,600 from a place in town that I usually get my AC work done from. I was going to go with him, but part of me did some research. Another guy went to another guy's place, and oh yeah, I'll call you back with the part. Well, it was a performance shop in town, a turbo shop. Never calling back, so the hell with that guy. Brock Automotive. Like, why tell me to come out there to look at it, do an estimate? You're going to do it, charge me for 4 hours of labor, which is what it takes. If you're not going to call me back, just don't waste my time. Just say you don't want to do it. So I went ahead and had the appointment for the $1,600, which I was still biting the bullet. I really didn't want to do it. And then a lady from work takes her Mercedes-Benz to a place where she lives, which is about 25 minutes away from here. And they're really nice. I called and talked to the office manager. She gave me a quote on the phone. I told her what was going on. And she's like, okay, we'll do it for $1,100. I'm like, really? She's like, yeah. And then, but what kind of threw me off was, she's like, well, it calls for 6 to 7 hours of labor. And it says we have to remove the intercooler and the ECU. I said, you don't have to do that. And she goes, well, if we get it here and we see we don't have to do those things, then won't charge you for labor for those, and we won't do it. I'm like, okay, whatever. But she's like, what I'd like you to do those, we want to keep it for at least 2 days in case you run into problems. As soon as she said that crap to me, I'm just like, if you don't feel confident enough in your AC shop that you can replace this without having any issues, I don't know. So I kept that appointment too. I had 2 appointments. I was going to go to them, right? And then, like clockwork, a day later, a guy that used to work where I work, a retired guy, came in, and he has classical cars. And he asked me what was going on. I just chit-chat with him, shooting the shit, talking. And I brought up the car. And he's like, well, I got a guy that does AC work. Told him about this guy, Joe the mechanic. Fucking name. And so I get the guy's number. He's like, he did an awesome job on my dad's compressor when he was alive. He did a bunch of work on the AC lines on my car, never had any issues. I was like, okay, let me give him a shout. I call him up, tells me to come on by right then and there. So I go by his house, and actually he lives about a block away from one of my good friends, Mike, that welded off the rear differential plug on this car. So we go ahead, I go over there and meet up with him, and he's talking. He's like, yeah, I can do it for this price. And I thought the price was a little too cheap. And then he says, so I'm not overcharging you. You pick up the expansion valve, you pick up the evaporator and the oil and the dye, and I'll do it Wednesday for you. Drop it off in the morning, I'll have it done in the afternoon. I'm like, okay. I normally don't do that. I only bring it to my friend Mike if I need to borrow tools from him, or if like I did one side of the wheel bearing when he did the other side. That's different. He's honest, he's reliable, he's competent, he's a smart guy. And the dude is building a BMW motor right now, taking out a dashboard, another vehicle, and he's replacing the pistons in the motor in one of his performance vehicles that he has. It's like 30 years old. The guy knows what he's doing. Very reliable guy, like a really good-hearted guy. So, I'm like, okay, let me just give this guy a shot. And I asked a bunch of dumb questions, just to see if the guy was reliable, see if he, would answer me because I learned a lot the last 3 weeks. So I asked a bunch of dumb questions that I knew the answers to, and he was right on them. So I go home, I get the evaporator from Avance, and I get the expansion valve from AutoZone. Or excuse me, no, I don't go to Avance. I'm sorry. I got the evaporator from AutoZone and the expansion valve from O'Reilly's. They're right next to each other. They didn't have both places had separate parts. So I dropped the car off on Wednesday. Yeah, he texted me back that night. He's like, "Well, I'm sorry, I quoted you the wrong price. It's another $170 more." And what he quoted me was less anyways. So I was like, "Okay, fine." So I dropped the car off over there, pull it up into his carport. He's got a huge, carport, bunch of tools. He calls me about 2 o'clock, says, "Hey, car's almost done. I got to put a little bit more Freon in it. Come pick it up." Okay, great. Sounds like it's awesome. I go over there at 6 o'clock at night, and the car's about 30 feet back from where I parked it, which was weird. I'll get into that. And he had the windows down, and I could feel that it was ice cold in there, or somewhat cold. This is my fault. I didn't actually get in the car right away. I was talking to him. But I'll put these videos at the end of this so you guys can see what I'm talking about. When I left about a mile from his house, I started to notice a weird hissing, like it was stuttering from the glove compartment. And when you guys turn the AC on, you hear you turn it off. It's just depressurizing. It's just moving the vapor. That's normal. But it was making a weird, like it was stuttering. So I popped the hood because I listened to that. I'm not an AC guy, but I know how my car's supposed to sound. I popped the hood, and there was dye. It's going to be hard to see. Actually, you're not going to be able to see it at all because I wiped it up, and it's dark. But there was dye all over the expansion valve. So I call him up, and like, "What the hell's going on?" He goes, "Well, it's probably from when I took it apart. I just didn't wipe it off." So I'm like, "Well, that's weird. I mean, I thought you had a machine where you could depressurize this." I'm thinking to myself, that's what you told me, bud. So, next morning I drove to work on my lunch break. I just didn't like the way it sounds. So I called a couple places in town. A guy called Ron's Automotive told me, the video's almost over, guys. I'll get to the good part. Told me, "Yeah, come on by. I'll look at it. Won't charge you just to tell you if the sound is normal or not." I was like, "Well, I didn't do it before." So I go over there, and gets in my car, and he's like, the sound you're hearing when it turns on and off is normal. He goes, "But that hissing sound, that sounds like it's undercharged to me." So he tested it. It's supposed to have 1.2 pounds of Freon, I believe. It had 0.2 pounds, right? So guy fills it up. He's like, "What's worrying me is the sound of the compressor." And I didn't even notice the sound of the compressor. I have a video of that. It sounded like it was grinding. I'm like, great. So he's like, "Bring it back on Monday. I'll vacuum out the system. We'll see what he did." I go back on Monday. It's not Ron's Automotive anymore. It's Johnny's Automotive. The guy, I don't know why he even told me to come back, the owner. That was his last day there. He sold the shop after 25 years. So there was only 2 mechanics that knew what I was talking about. It was the new owner had no idea. Luckily, they took my car back, and they were thinking this dinglebat poured all the oil in it, right? He used too much oil. That's what was screwing up the compressor. So they took apart all the lines. They cleaned out what they could, vacuumed out everything what they could with the actual machine, and they changed all of the gaskets because it was actually leaking. The day after I took it to see if it was undercharged, it was actually leaking from here. After when I took my kid and her friend to the movies to see Scream 7 on a Sunday, it was actually leaking from there and fizzing out. I have a video of that. He shouldn't even have to touch any of this shit. He was only supposed to touch that. This already has lubricant in it. He did not have to touch this. So I'm like, okay, great. So if anything, he would have had the caps, the Schrader valves, not this. It was leaking from this. So I take it back to that Ron's Automotive. That's now Johnny's Automotive. They charged me $260 to take apart the system, flush it, replace every single O-ring, even if it wasn't an O-ring that he touched, just in case. And just because, just to make sure it's OEM, this and that. So the guy's telling me, "Look, the compressor's still doing it." This is the mechanic there. He's like, "Look, just go home. You can do this. Loosen up this bolt here. Let it vent to the atmosphere." Well, I didn't want to do that because, one, I already got so dizzy from like the smell. 2, it's illegal. And 3, if it was a little bit, that's fine, but I just paid these people $120 to fill the damn thing up, and then I paid them $260 to evacuate it and put it back in there. I'm not going to just go back again and pay another $100-something. So I was like, okay, so let me go to Tires Plus, right? Tires Plus, I understand, is like Jiffy Lube. I go there for tires. That is it. So I go there and I'm like, can you evacuate the system because I got to replace something? Because that place that became Johnny's Automotive wouldn't do it for me. The mechanic would do it. The new company, the new owner, wouldn't do it. It's like a liability. Why is it a liability if I'm going to do the part? I just want you to evacuate the system. I'm going to bring it back so you can fill it back up. So they wouldn't do that. So I took it to Tires Plus. Tires Plus did it for me. I did not use, I understand it's dark, I did not use the OEM compressor. I did not use the OEM belt. Before anybody bags on me, I needed to get this done now. Or last week, I needed to see what the issue was. The OEM compressor was like $700 or $800 at the cheapest. I would have had to wait for it to come. It was very, very hot a couple weeks ago. The belt, I wasn't going to drive an hour and a half to Lakeland to get it. I did keep the OEM belt. There's no cracks in it. And the OEM compressor, I did keep. Now, there's people online that I talk to and know and seen videos on YouTube that they have at Amazon $200 compressor that they have changed and it's still blowing ice cold air. That is not my issue. Before anybody says, well, first of all, the stock one that comes with it from the factory is Vallejo, right? It's not, that's what they use. So I end up putting this on. The belt's easy. It's one bolt. You fly it on there and you go clockwise to loosen it, pull it off, put it back on. That's it. You're done. There's 2 10 millimeter bolts here. I know it's hard to see. And then there's one, 2, 3, or 4, and then so there's 3 little ones and 1 long one. This whole thing pulls up. It's very, very, very simple if you have to do it. Go back up to Tires Plus, have them fill it up. The noise is gone from the compressor, and the noise is gone from the glove compartment. But I'm not getting cold air at idle. The video's almost over, guys. You're going to love this. You're going to love the issue of what was causing all this. I don't know what he did to the compressor, the stock compressor. I have it right here. This is what I bought. And by the way, these compressors are identical. I looked at both of them. It already came with oil in it. So I'm going to keep this just in case, right? Here was the filter, or excuse me, the evaporator. It's very disgusting. You could see where it was leaking for a while. It is not supposed to look like this. And there's the 2 holes where the temperature sensor sits in to tell the compressor to kick on, tell it to push more air, so it doesn't freeze up, to do its job. It doesn't know to tell the computer. And the expansion valve is underneath there. I'm not going to touch it. There's oil and shit. I kept this for a certain reason. I'll tell you later. So, and it does stink. It's actually it must have been leaking for a long, long time. It's very, very dirty. So anyways, I'm like, tell Tires Plus, I'm like, it's not cold. It's only cold when I'm driving. You for sure charged it, right? Yeah, we charged it right. Well, the next day I look, it's actually leaking from the Schrader valve from when they filled it up. Those are like bike tires, right? From Tires Plus when they filled it. I took it back up there. They replaced the Schrader valves, didn't charge me, and they filled it back up like it was supposed to, and I went on my way. It was still blowing 78 degree temperature air when you're idling. It's blowing ice cold air when you're driving. So, I'm going to tell you what the issue is, and this is why you need to do stuff yourself, or you need to really, I should have paid this $1,100 or this $1,600 shot, because all said and done, now I've spent $2,000 between the compressor, the vacuuming the system, filling it up, the belt, stuff that I need to get anyways, but I didn't need the compressor. Now, I don't know if the stock compressor went out because this dummy, here's what I think he did. I think he used way too much oil, plus he didn't vacuum out the system correctly because he used one of those little pumps, which you can use those, but I still think he didn't get everything out. And 3, I think because it was undercharged, those 3 things together screwed that compressor up within a matter of about 2 to 3 days of me driving with it on. I believe that's what caused it. Well, not this compressor, that compressor. So, I'm doing some research. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Well, I take it to a place that's another 25 minutes away. because I'm running out of places. Nobody is understanding why it's not cold, right? Nobody. Guys tell me, well, I don't want to scare you, you know, but this is another shot, by the way. But, you know, I told him the whole get through what I just told you guys, what was going on. He's like, you know, it is filled. He goes, some cars are weird, though. If they don't have the exact compressor it came on the car, it won't be as cold. I'm like, look, I know people online have used $200 cheap-ass compressors off Amazon, and it's not like this. I'm telling you, something else is wrong. You can hear it kicking on. You can hear it just click the clutch kicking over. It's spinning. I don't know what's going on. So the day I left that shop was a Monday. I come home, and I sit and I think for a little while. When I dropped this off to this dude's house, I tried to do something nice. I took out the blower motor. I took out this. All he had to do was depressurize it, vacuum it out, replace the expansion valve, and remove one more piece and get to the evaporator. That's it. That's all he had to do. So I was finding some screws in there he didn't put back together. I had to put back in. So I went to my buddy's house, my guy Mike, that me and him should have done this shit ourselves. So I should just let it go to the atmosphere, bought a pump from Harbor Freight for, you know, and then had a shop fill it back up with Freon. That's what I should have done, really. Anyways, I'm telling my buddy what's going on, and the thermometer said it was 78 degrees, drops down to like 75 degrees, 73. But then when you're driving, like I said, it's ice cold. The reason it's colder when it's driving is because everything's spinning faster, and you got air coming in, hitting the condenser. It's kind of helping it. But for some reason at idle, it's not. Not all the time. Anyways, it's very uncomfortable if it's 90 degrees out. So I tell my buddy something, and I tell him something, but he's not an AC guy, but he's like, look, we can look at it, you know, next week when I'm off, this and that. So the next day, which was the day of Monday, I took it to that shop that had no idea what I was talking about, told me it was the compressor. I started thinking, and I started looking up the diagram of what this idiot would have had to not put back right, or what he could have broke. And like clockwork, it's dark and I can't open everything. I apologize, guys. It's not the best video. I take out some stuff of the glove compartment, and I take out, there's a airbag in there, of course, and a harness. I took that out, and like clockwork, I looked up underneath there. This, I'm going to curse on this one. This fucking dummy that replaced this evaporator, you don't have, by the way, not one, not two, not three, 4 shops. All 4 shops told me this glove, the dashboard does not have to come out. So I have the tech book from Subaru, and even in their tech book that I downloaded, it's like 7,000 pages. It's very detailed. It even says dashboard does not have to come out. 100%. It calls for 4 to 6 hours of labor. Every shop I went to looked it up. It says it right there. You can see the evaporator when you take out the few things that I told you. Okay? So what he didn't do, the reason it's doing this, is he didn't plug in the fucking evaporator temperature sensor that goes right in those holes there. That's it. So if you go look up what that sensor does, and if it's faulty or if it's not plugged in, people can bypass it, but I'm not going to bypass it because I'm not going to screw with the wires. I'm going to put it back in there, and I'm going to tell you how I'm going to do it right in this video. Damn, this video is almost 20 minutes. Jesus, the only person that's probably watching is Lou. But that's good. That's good enough for me. So, this sits in a box. I'm going to take out the stuff, and I got needle nose pliers that curve. It sits in a real tight box. I'm going to try and have my buddy just pry the box a little bit, and I'm going to try to get in there and try and shove it in there. If it does not work, I'm going to evaporate the system myself, take out the rest of the lines, get a vacuum out the system after I put the plug in there and the evaporator and everything over again. Then I'm just going to go to Tires Plus and have them fill up the system, or I'm just going to go get 2 cans of Freon and fill it up that way. Simple as that. So it sucks. You live and you learn. But basically that sensor, what it does is, it's not faulty. This idiot just didn't plug it back in. And when I call them out on it, oh, I stand by my work. I'll bring it back on Sunday. Nah, fuck no. You've already screwed this up, screwed that up, this up, undercharged it. I'm not bringing it back to you, buddy. So I'm off Saturday. I'm going to do it Saturday. And the reason, it's been cool anyways, but what happens is, you can't get, it's so dark, I apologize. You can't get to that sensor unless you remove these two lines that go to that. Excuse me, you can't get to the evaporator and pull the evaporator out unless you remove these two lines that are held on by one bolt. And that holds, those lines go into the expansion valve. And then to do that, I'm going to have Freon scored out, right? Or yeah, to the atmosphere. So if I can't, I'm just going to loosen that up, let it vent. I hate to say that. And then I can loosen that up, go in there, and it jiggles. You can loosen the inside up, and that's connected. And basically what it connects to, I don't want to touch it because it's dirty. Those two lines I just said to go to the expansion valve, those curve into the firewall and they go into this. And then that's what kicks on. But that sensor, everything I've seen, that sensor has to go here. I'm going to just try and get it here just to get it in there, just so it registers something. But if you look up that sensor, it will not cause the compressor to kick on like it should at idle. It will give you warm air, not as cold air at idle. It will give you just completely different. It doesn't know what the temperature is, so it won't tell the computer what to do. I don't have to worry about it icing up. I'm in Florida. A lot of people bypass these, but that is where I'm at with it. I'm going to do it Saturday. I have 100% faith that I can do it. I've already got to most of it. I already saw the evaporator. My dumb ass should have just, I didn't want to deal with the Freon. That's what it was. So stick through. The end of the video is going to have all the videos of why I had to replace the compressor and all that shit that I was dealing with. Now it's fine. There's no noises at all. It's cool air when you're driving. It's somewhat cool when you're idling, but it's not as cool as it should be because this dinglebat didn't put this part that I'll put a picture in the end. Peace, guys.